Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Tarallo. I'm a Principal Technical Marketing Manager with Qlik. I'd like to officially and formally welcome you to the Do More with Qlik webinar series, where today we're going to explore, as Rocco had mentioned, the art of the possible, the potential of using AI capabilities, machine learning, application automation, or the automation integration with Qlik Cloud Analytics, and presented in an example use case. So today with me, and I'm clicking next, there we go. And today with me, I'm joined by my colleague, Rocco Pecroa. He's our Senior Manager of Offerings Management. Rocco, is there anything you'd like to add about your experience working at Qlik?
Yeah, I have a quick bio I was going to do, but yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Rocco Pecroa, Senior Manager here. Also have experience on the consulting side of Qlik, so really excited to be here and share with you some of the things we've been working on.
Awesome. So today, Rocco is going to be presenting a demonstration that's focused on Qlik Cloud Analytics that is going to analyze the loss of customers. And we're using a telecommunications scenario or industry use case, if you will. So the loss of customers, AKA also known as churn or customer attrition. So you'll hear that word churn a lot. Mm-hmm. I like to say loss of customers, but in the industry, churn or customer attrition. In the presentation, we're going to highlight the innovation possibilities of leveraging Qlik Cloud Analytics alongside the advanced technologies that we provide for predictive data science, the AI-driven automations, and generative AI. Now, of course, I have to throw in some of my plugs on here. On the last Do More, which was November 1st, I covered set analysis, and I called it set analysis redux. It basically covered the powerful expression syntax and some of the automated and the new AI capabilities that we've added that make working with it much easier. And this is available in the Do More archive library, so in case you missed it. That being said, you can go to the Do More archive playlist, where you'll have this session and many others, as well as the library of previous sessions. And it's going to be available in a link that you get after this presentation is sent out. It's also available in the YouTube channel playlist, which is also part of that follow-up resource. And then on the next Do More with Qlik, we just released this, and I'm going to be covering this. And this is going to be at the end of January because, of course, most companies have their sales kickoff and people getting back from vacation. So at the end of January, I'm going to be covering tabular reporting. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how you can address common centrally managed use case of report distribution requirements directly from the QlikSense application layer. Again, the feature is called tabular reporting. It is available now. It is in all of our materials, our blogs, our help, YouTube channel, all that type of stuff if you want to start playing with it. But I'm going to show you how you can create highly formatted documents utilizing the Excel plugin for Office 365 or desktop. Grab visualizations that have already been created and governed directly in the Qlik platform and bring them into these documents as templates, and then set up governed tasks that allow you to distribute these and burst these particular operational reports, okay, directly from the cloud platform. So I hope to see you then. That's going to be January 31st. Stay tuned for more announcements. And since you signed up to this one, you might be getting notifications on this one when it's ready. Okay. So over to you, Rocco, and you can share your screen and you can take over.
Awesome. Give me 1 second.
And while you're doing that, guys, since Rocco's pretty much going to be, the main driver of the presentation, I'll be monitoring chat and Q&A. We'll address the Q&A live at the end, but I could also do it in the beginning, and I might interrupt Rocco as we continue. Go ahead, Rocco.
Cool. So welcome, everybody. As Mike mentioned, my name's Rocco Pecroa, Senior Manager here. Prior to joining Qlik, I spent 7 years on the consulting side deploying Qlik solutions across a variety of industries like life sciences, pharmaceuticals, retail, e-commerce, energy, trading, utilities, financial services, sports and entertainment, etc. So I've really seen a lot of different use cases and markets and industries leverage Qlik solutions in so many different ways, which is really just the power behind Qlik and our technology. So since joining Qlik, I've been on the technical product marketing side, now on the offerings management with the global technology team, and focused on a little bit more around building things that you're going to see today. So going into the presentation, you guys have seen Qlik Cloud, or we're going to give a very nice red carpet tour today. But you can think of this as we're building really nice houses. With the data integration and quality, we're bringing in all of the pipelines of data, all the electricity into those buildings, right? We're from change data capture, from our talent acquisition, even the ability to move transformation upstream, downstream. We're giving the ability to have a lot of flexibility in where you're building out that foundation for data movement and data governance. And then, what I'll focus on more today is the red box, the analytics, the AI, the machine learning. I come from more of that background, so I'm going to focus really around a few of those technologies in that box. But, kind of moving towards what I'd like to show you is how we streamline that analytics lifecycle. So for all of us who've been, in Qlik technology, some of these things may be familiar. And, just to kind of walk through from left to right in the normal life cycle, just from data sources, that movement has changed with data gateway and direct query. We have the ability to provide SaaS consumption across a variety of disparate data landscapes, whether you have data behind a firewall on-prem or you have cloud databases. We're really building out the foundation that you can create whatever type of SaaS consumption you need, no matter where the data is. Then providing that singular bottleneck through catalog and lineage, which I come from a developer standpoint, is just crucial in the fact to have that transparency. But from the create, understand, and act, this is kind of the pieces I want to focus on, because what I'm going to show today is a version of my imagination on how I would use Qlik Cloud. And I'm going to use customer churn, as Mike mentioned, but we'll kind of, go through that. But what I want to do is kind of show you the specific technologies I'm focused on today, from integration and extensibility into OpenAI with our engine, using a dashboard or visualization / application as the vehicle for these experiences. Obviously using the associative engine and that free flow exploration that Qlik has always provided, alerting, event triggering, predictive analytics with machine learning, reporting, AI, automation. This is, for me, the pillars of the next chapter of analytics and consumption of data, and really building out experiences for the modern information worker. So how does Qlik Cloud provide a platform that is really robust in terms of a developer has the ability to build whatever they need? And I think that's important, because when you look at what we provide now in the market and the acquisitions we've made, we have a very strong platform that really unifies data ecosystems, not even from the source perspective, as I just mentioned, but even from kind of like that flywheel in terms of data governance. So I really believe in a data foundation provides a strong BI framework, right? So once you have your data warehouse kind of already streamlined, you've built out your data pipelines, you've already kind of managed maybe your incremental reloads and change data capture, all of those things, then you can have the ability to build out a very strong framework around BI, whether that's guided analytics or self-service. Maybe it's on-demand SQL pushdown, a specialized mapping, reporting, mobile, embedded. Those are all different routes within BI, but it all starts from that data foundation. And going into where all the hurrah and the hype is, you can't have these governed AI experiences unless you have a very strong data foundation and BI ecosystem. So that's what I'm going to share with you today, is how these things connect, how you can build out these experiences so your end users can have this advanced technology and this, immersive experience with trust and governance. So when you think of applications in the cloud today, they're not what they were 10 years ago. Really, they're a lot different. They've evolved, and what's really evolved is the integrations that are possible. So apps today are more like digital ecosystems. They can think and they can act. Even more so with our associative engine, which most of you know has the ability to take in all of that business logic and tribal knowledge your organization has built out through flags and ETL and ELT. So it's really, how do you embrace that engine and your logic to provide automated awareness, AI experiences, right? All of these things, and leveraging technology to get there. So even looking at this visual here, the nucleus of this ecosystem is the BI application. It's the engine, it's the data model with your logic, and it's the front end, right? And from there, you can provide supplemental technology that enhances the experience, whether it's automations that are, escalating things to different teams, sending communications to external groups, updating accounts in different source systems like a CRM or an ERP, communications, bringing in AI in multiple different facets, whether it's, large language models, predictive. There's just really a lot of different ways you can build out these applications, and you really have to think about what you're creating and who you're creating it for. And that's kind of the focus of some of today, is how do we build these experiences? Where do we start thinking about them? I like thinking around these ideas of analysis paths, right? So I come from the consulting world. I've developed and deployed QlikView, QlikSense, and everything. So the first thing I start with talking with customers is, how do we analyze this, whatever this is? And is it a structured legacy analysis, or is this something that's always done ad hoc on demand? How can I, the developer, build better experiences for this user and this user? And really, how does the technology, the application, the design of the UI anticipate my user's next steps? And you have to find the paths first. And the one thing I'll tell you is, everybody that I've ever worked with knew their data better than I. What I did is showed them how to use Qlik better at whatever they needed to do. But it all starts from following that path and building it around there, and not here or there. So for this demo, we're going to focus on customer churn. As Mike mentioned, it's whether a customer will stay or go. It's a use case a lot of us can apply in our normal organizations. And I want to show you the analysis paths that I picked for this use case. I wanted to identify low ROI customers. These are customers that may be problematic, cost money. I need to kind of move them in or out of different plans. I wanted to analyze customer reviews and surveys. And I wanted to retain high ROI customers that I think will be legacy customers and be profitable. So what I wanted to do, because I know when we look at the application, we're not going to get a chance to go through all of the back end. If that is something you guys would like to do, please definitely put in the chat, because I think there could be a part 2. But I'm using Qlik Cloud Analytics throughout all of this interaction. I wanted to just walk through machine learning as a big part of predicting whether a customer will be low ROI or high ROI, whether they will stay or go. I use AI in 2 different ways when I wanted to analyze the customer reviews, and I'm using application automation in Qlik Cloud through every part of this. So from there, let's go right into the demo.
Awesome. Thank you, Rocco. I would like to quick mention that a lot of what Rocco is going to show, the back end stuff has been presented in one shape or form through the use of Do More with Qlik, or through playlists on the YouTube channel, or documents in the blog. So if you have anything specific, please ask the questions here in the Q&A. And then Rocco, I agree with you. I think building upon this in 2024 with a part 2 is something I would like to do.
Perfect. So here we're in Qlik Cloud. I'll just give a quick walkthrough. In Qlik Cloud, we don't technically have the same streams structure as previously, but we do have the ability to kind of create our own streams and personalize this homepage however you see fit. That's super helpful whether you're a business stakeholder, front-end user, data steward, database admin, or BI developer. You can essentially build this out however you see fit. I'm going to go to my catalog, which is our library for all of your different artifacts within Qlik Cloud. So here you can see I can go to types. I can see charts that I can monitor if I want to just watch a KPI or a bar chart without going into an application, apps, data sets, our new scripts where we've detached scripts from a QVF. That is really helpful if you're building out multiple levels of transformation and want to leverage maybe a load script in multiple applications. So check that out. That's something that just rolled out and really intuitive. We also have notes where you can collaborate with other users, links where you can embed, external or internal links to other places, automations, machine learning deployments and machine learning experiments, and glossaries. So this is super helpful when you want to build out a collective. So here you can see, I'm going to go to my solution kit for customer churn, and you can see all the different artifacts that I have in this data set, whether it's data, an application, or my machine learning model that I trained and deployed, as well as the experiment. So here we're going to go into that application. So really what I wanted to do with this is I wanted to see how fast and how quickly I could build out my understanding of just this KPI in the blue box. I think that's a really important concept because when you see what I've done with just one KPI in 3 different analysis paths, as we've talked about, it will build out your imagination on what can be done across every KPI at your organization. So what I want to do really quickly is show you the raw data, right? So this is the original data set that supported this application. What I did is I took this data set and I ran it through a machine learning algorithm. And what that did, right? I used AutoML, and again, we can have a part 2 where we walk through building out that model with this data. But it could be any machine learning tool you have, really. It could be any external engine like Epic or your CRM or your ERP that provides an API that you can bring in a predictive field. That is totally possible. So don't think that you're excluded from that type of capability. I use AutoML in this instance. But once you run a data set through a machine learning model and train it, you then fortified every data set to be an influencer, to provide visibility into the influence around what it does to that target. So in this example, I built a machine learning model around this customer data, and my target was churn. My target was whether this customer will stay or go. So from here, I can see, and this is pretty important in terms of what is the output of a machine learning model and how you can bring it back into your original data model application. So you can have this experience that you'll see, you're bringing that predictable element back into the application. So all of these values are my original data characteristics, attributes within that schema. But I've ranked them into influencers. And some of these may seem obvious, but when you get down to the use case and the row level interpretation of a single customer, that's where the engine becomes even more important when you bring this data set back. So from here, I can see my top 3 influencers on what will impact whether a customer will stay or go. Plan type is number 1, base fee is number 2, and number of penalties is number 3. And here you can see I've designed and brought all of these back into the application, and I can make selections on the fly. And I really have that free flow exploration right at my fingertips still in Qlik.
Hey, Rocco.
Yeah.
So I'd like to quickly mention, because I'm getting some questions that come in as well. Rocco is using SHAP importance data. Now, for those of you who might not be aware, AutoML, when you feed your historical data is just your operational data, the data that you normally would analyze. And he's probably going to bring that up momentarily. Yep. Then there's a training data set, which has your targets, right? So you just want to see customer churn, different plan types, for example. When you run that experiment through AutoML, it brings back this data set, this SHAP data set that you can then use in Qlik Analytics. And Rocco's going to show you some of that, or I don't want to hijack your presentation, but I would like people to understand, Rocco, go back to the telco customer churn tab. When you see that data, that's not coming out of his typical data set that you would analyze, right? You click add data, grab the data, and start analyzing and thinking it's your historical data. This is the data set that's created from the output of that experiment, correct, Rocco?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So when you train that model, it provides you data back. It's the prediction. It's a score. It's a binary score, essentially.
Yep.
You have to bring that back into your original data model, which, as you all know, is pretty simple with the associative engine and linking data together. So it's very simple. It's just an extra step that I consider data enrichment process, right? It's upstream from a reload. It may be separate from a reload schedule because you want to train models, maybe not as frequently, but that is an element to it.
And that SHAP data is linked on like a common key, right? From your historical data?
Yep.
And you can define that within the process.
Absolutely. So just to show you, I brought up the model that I built for this app. You can see which one is created, the light GBM classification. And these SHAP values is the data that I brought back in, right? So this is those exact top 3 influencers for whether a customer will stay or go. Now, what's very advantageous of Qlik Cloud, and this is not something that all tools have, is a lot of tools will only show you this SHAP importance. Maybe some of them will even visualize it, but not all of them give you that as a data set, as an output to bring back into your system or application or wherever you want to bring this predictability. So the fact that not only do we visualize it, but we offer it as an output is huge. And if you can see here, we've provided the real-time prediction API for integrating machine learning models into your application. So we can do a part 2 on this. Please mention in the chat that you're interested in that, because we could easily do an entire different session on that. Cool.
Yep, that's perfect.
So the first analysis I wanted to do is I wanted to identify low ROI customers. I talk about business logic. I talk about structured analysis / ad hoc. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know that there are certain data sets or analysis paths, you could call them, that are pretty well known, right? And in this case, I'm going to walk through something that wasn't well known, but I designed around it. And I've built it to anticipate my users' needs because I know exactly what they're going to need to analyze. So very quickly, I want to kind of look at this number of penalties on the bottom right visualization. And one thing that I noticed, and this is all real data that I took from the internet. So one thing that was very interesting on this data is if you look at here, right, the likelihood for a customer to cancel is almost 0 until they've exceeded that 3rd penalty. Once they've exceeded that 3rd penalty, the likelihood to cancel seems almost infinite. So that was something very interesting that I wanted to kind of dig around. So what I did is I've just provided, a path. So I want to look at any customers that have 60% cancellation risk. I also want to call out the purple plan for this example. And I want to go back to that, selecting 4 more penalties. One thing I do want to do is in the telecommunications business, right? They have these very kind of low base fee, entry-level promotion campaigns to attract new customers. Banks do the same things for direct deposits, but it's a huge part of their business, right? To create these competitive campaigns to gain customers, to gain market share. So I wanted to build around that. So then I wanted to kind of exclude any customer that isn't brand new. So I want to only filter out customers that we attracted from these promotional campaigns and who have never renewed. So from here I can see, right, there's high service tickets, there's low base fees, there's a lot of penalties, and these are what I would consider low ROI customers. We attracted them in that promotional campaign. but they're not really longevity customers that we want to keep. So the next thing I want to do using application automation, I'm going to send myself an alert, and I'm mimicking escalating this to a resolution team. So I'm going to press this automation. Now, mind you, the automation behind this button, it could be an alert in Teams, it could be an alert in Slack, it could be sending somebody a report that could be a PDF, it could be sending somebody a report that's a PowerPoint. Your ability to send those communications are endless. I'm only showing you this as a singular example. But here you can see, if I was on that escalation team, you can see exactly what I've been provided, an entire account list. So it's pretty interesting that very quickly I can give maybe a customer service rep a pathway to really filter out low ROI customers very quickly, but also offer that next step. So for the next analysis, I wanted to use AI to analyze and respond to customer reviews. So we're going to use AI in two different ways in this example. The first part on the top half is using AI in an automation. What we've done is we've used the OpenAI connector. And again, keep in mind, I'm using OpenAI in this example just because it's what I had access to. And it was the first connector we rolled out. We just deployed the AWS Bedrock connector, and you have the ability to integrate any AI model from any AI source you have using the same connectors and connectivity and processes and methods. I just want to keep you in mind that you have full kind of freedom to leverage whatever tool you want. So what this automation does is it takes all of the reviews, surveys, comments that anybody's left, maybe in Google, Amazon, wherever they come from, right? And I've asked AI to analyze all of these comments. And the first step is it to filter out the negative comments, first and foremost. Once it's filtered out those negative comments, I wanted it to provide one suggested response. So let's just focus into an account, right? And from here, I can see the suggested response that the AI has already built in my automation. If I was comfortable with that, I could just easily, again, go down to these buttons below and approve the response and send it back into my CRM, back into my marketing system. But I kind of want to change the tone of this and maybe the language. So right now it's in Spanish, and I'm going to change it into a friendly kind of tone. And this second part is the generative AI using OpenAI in real time with our server-side extensions and real-time kind of connectivity. So let me just bring it back to English.
Hey, Rocco.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, go ahead. Continue.
No, you can just see, again, mimicking my audience, a customer service rep at a telecommunications company, managing responses to negative comments. This is how I can change a tone. I can really have the ability to use this application as a control plane, right, for feedback, all using AI and automation to streamline that process of summarizing text data. Yeah, Mike?
So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So the term server-side extensions, or SSE, is old. So don't get confused thinking that there's something external or something that we have to code. We provide what's called the OpenAI analytics connectors or the Amazon Bedrock analytics connectors, which are integrated into the cloud platform. You just have to provide your tokens, your secrets, parameters and arguments. And then there's a small bit of Qlik script that you just put the prompt into. And then you guys all know and love variables and expressions. So basically, we're just dynamically generating a prompt that is being sent to that appropriate API, and then the result comes back directly into a text object. So there is no heavy code or third-party stuff under here. I just wanted to clarify, because I know the nature of people, they hear extensions and stuff, and they might think it's something that's a third party, not out of the box. But everything Rocco is showing you is out of the box.
Yeah, great clarification. And really to think about that connectivity is you're connecting the engine to a third party source, whether that's Python, OpenAI, AWS Bedrock, and it just gives you the ability to create a transmission from filtered data to that external calculation engine back to Qlik.
And that's the other thing I got to clarify. Sorry,
Yep.
Rocco. So when you mentioned Python or R, right, that is where we do provide the APIs for you to build your own extension to work inside Qlik. So the out-of-the-box generative AI capability, OpenAI, Amazon Bedrock, Hugging Face, for example. But then if you want to do something a little bit more outside of the box, then we have the APIs where you can build that into it.
Perfect. So just to kind of keep in the context of this use case, so this customer complains about customer satisfaction, slow service, and used to get, credits or freebies or promotions. So I want to keep with this customer, and I want to go into my next use case, which is how do I retain our high ROI customers? So I wanted to bring the predictive data set that I used in the machine learning model. I wanted to use variables, as Mike mentioned, and I wanted to just create a simulator where users could come in and really be able to understand how to keep this customer, and then from that position, approve it into the CRM. So from here, I can see my original churn rate is 40%. 40% likelihood I'll lose this customer and I don't make a dime on this guy right now, right? So what I can do is I can lower the base fee, and I can see that my churn is hit 20%. So I've already increased that, but my profitability has gone down. The first thing I know as a rep, just in this context, is the blue plan is our most kind of longevity plan. It's where we want to push customers to. So once I move him to a blue plan, I can see that I've reduced his churn to almost sub 1%, very good. And I've also increased my profitability by 7 points. So that is fantastic for me in terms of what I need to accomplish with this customer. But I do remember he did complain about not getting a promotion. So even in this context, I brought some financial data in to understand profitability. I'm still above 5%, which is my goal as a team. So from here, I use this as a simulator. I've reduced the likelihood of this customer leaving by almost 98%. And I've also increased my profitability by 6.9%. And I've done this using multiple technologies, all within my Qlik Cloud Analytics application. So from here, I can update this into a CRM. And I'm gonna just go to the automation, and I'm just gonna pop the hood and show you guys, right? Like this is what's happening behind the back end, is using application automation for creating these workflows that execute your users' next steps. So if we're not familiar with application automation, it's a fantastic tool. It's all drag and drop. And what you do is you essentially build out workflows that are autonomous, and they can execute either on schedule, dynamically, or based on an event. So in that example, if my customer churn hit a percentage that I was uncomfortable with, application automation would be orchestrating the communications and all of these alerts in the back end. And you can see on the left all the different connectors that come with it. I think we have almost 70 plus connectors at this point, from OpenAI, Databricks, Google BigQuery, Marketo, a whole host of different applications that you can integrate right into Qlik Cloud and your applications pretty seamlessly. The next thing I wanted to show, right, was this application in Qlik Cloud as a normal application. I wanted to next show you a version of this that's been built into an embedded / mashup. So this is something we did for the Gartner event a few months ago. And you might have seen this already, but I think this is a fantastic prototype that we've built that also is the same use case we've been building on top of, but it's an embedded use case, right? So you have this different look and feel that looks like a website, feels like a website, but in terms of being able to leverage it as decision science is kind of the main focus. So again, leveraging logic and rules set by the business, I can see very quickly where I need to take action. If I were to go into this account and open this up, very quickly I'm being offered a simulator. Something I really believe in is the foundation of creating data science interactions and decision making. So from here I can run a simulation. This is going to take this data set and build out that whole process we just talked through with training the model and the experiments, and it's going to bring it back very quickly. So here you can see my current churn with this account was 31%. Through that simulator, it's now down to 1.60 by adjusting that base fee, right? And actually moving plans. So from here, I feel comfortable with this and I want to run this with an automation and update this into ServiceNow, send me a Teams alert. And remember, this can be any source system. You could be updating Salesforce, HubSpot, any type of system you have. These are all kind of back-end APIs, but it's again building out the concept of creating these experiences for your modern worker to anticipate their next steps, their next executions, what will be their next needs. And that's really kind of the demo, Mike. I mean, I'm open for questions if you'd like to do that, but I'd like to just kind of end there.